Took a jury just over 15 hours to find Jodi Arias guilty of first-degree murder. But as the penalty phase is about to begin, there's now a growing debate about whether this woman, who claims that she would rather die than spend the rest of her life in prison, should get what she claims to want. Jodi Arias in Kelly's court and her punishment next.
I said years ago that I'd rather get death than life, and that still is true today. I believe death is the ultimate freedom, so I'd rather just have my freedom as soon as I can get it.
Kelly's court is back in session. On the docket today, a guilty verdict in the Jodi Arias murder trial, first degree. But the drama's far from over. In just a few hours, the jury will be back. They will listen to arguments from prosecutors that Arias killed her boyfriend, Travis Alexander, in an especially heinous, cruel, and depraved manner back in 2008. If the jury agrees that that is true, they will decide whether or not she should be put to death. Apparently, Arias, well, she claims that she wants the death penalty. Take a listen to what she said to our Fox affiliate right after the verdict.
Well, the worst outcome for me would be natural life. I would much rather die sooner than later. Longevity runs in my family, and I don't want to spend the rest of my natural life in one place. You know, I'm pretty healthy, I don't smoke, and I would probably live a long time. So that's not something I'm looking forward to. I said years ago that I'd rather get death than life, and that still is true today. I believe death is the ultimate freedom, so I'd rather just have my freedom as soon as I can get it.
Death is the ultimate freedom. Mercedes Colwin's a Fox News legal analyst. Jonna Spilbor, a former prosecutor, now defense attorney. And there's a real question about whether that was how she truly feels, or that was something designed to try to manipulate jurors who may, contrary to the court's instructions, be consuming some news information. Your thoughts on it, Mercedes?
Oh, I mean, undoubtedly, that's what she's trying to do, is manipulate us. Because frankly, if this crime doesn't fit death penalty, stabbing someone 29 times, slitting their throat, shooting them, taking pictures, I don't know what crime there is that exists that actually gets a death penalty. So she knows, and then she spent 18 days on that defense stand. She thinks she can continue to manipulate that jury. Jury didn't buy it the first time. They may not buy it this time.
What do they have to prove, Jonna, to get death in the case? Because it's going to be the jury's decision. They don't just recommend it in Arizona. They get to decide.
Well, first they have to find that there were aggravating factors. And if you ask me, Megyn, there are 3 aggravating factors in this. First, the poor victim was naked in the shower, stabbed 27 times. That wasn't good enough. Let's put 2 bullet holes in his face. To me, that's aggravating. If they get past that, they still have the option to not sentence her to death if they so choose. They could let her live. And I'm not so sure if she trying to use reverse psychology on this jury?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
She wants to really live, but she knows that they don't.
You hate me so much, so I'll tell you what I want, which is death, so that you'll give me the opposite, which is life.
Right. So what planet is she living on? And, you know, to make the statement that, well, longevity runs in my family, you're going to prison, babe. You're going to be living on warm milk and bologna sandwiches for the next 70 years. I think it's going to take a few years off your life. I'm just saying.
Here she is. Look at the juxtaposition. Okay, this is the second soundbite about how she wants Travis Alexander's family to find peace. Look at this sweet delivery. She's so concerned about their happiness and their peace now. Listen.
I hope that now that a verdict has been rendered, that they're able to find peace, some sense of peace. I don't think they'll ever find the peace that they would like, but maybe they'll be able to have greater peace now, or some semblance of it, and be able to move on with their lives and remember their brother the way they wanted to.
That's great, and the Oscar goes to because this is a woman who stabbed him 27 times in the heart as well, then shot him. And look at the bloody sink. I'm not to be sensationalist, but prosecutors say the man was standing at the sink watching himself get stabbed to death, watching himself get murdered and bleed out over the sink. Oh, but Mercedes, she's so concerned about the family's peace. Give me a break.
Exactly. That family member's just sitting there jumping at that screen right then and there. They want to choke her and do things that she did to him. I mean, frankly, it is absolutely ridiculous. And with that little soft, sweet voice, I'm an angel, please don't hate me. And you know what?
The affect is so fake.
Exactly, ridiculous.
All right, but okay, so they're going to find aggravating factors. I think we're all in agreement that the jury's going to find aggravating, because every murder is heinous, but to be aggravated, it has to be especially heinous. I think they've got it. but that doesn't mean she gets death. That doesn't mean that they sentence her to death. How do they stop a death penalty recommendation or death penalty verdict at that point, Jonna?
Well, they'll probably have to do what we've seen in other death penalty cases. She might have to get on the stand again, painfully, this time hopefully not for 18 long days, and really beg for mercy. But here she is giving interviews saying that, well, essentially, I don't want mercy, I want to die. She'd have to get on the stand and say, never mind all that, I really do want to live. That's the only way.
What is the standard, though? Once the jury has said there are aggravating factors and this person could be sentenced to death, now what? They sit back and say, now convince us about whether we should sentence her to death or life in prison, Mercedes? What is the standard there, or is it just, I just don't want to do it?
No, you know, the mitigating factor she's going to introduce, she's already started talking about that, is the fact that her family abused her as a child. So she's going to bring in the abuse. She's going to talk about the abuse that she suffered at Travis's hands, too. All of those go into the equation as to whether they're mitigating factors that will actually spare her life. This jury, though, frankly, they're going to sit there and say, we're not going to buy Travis, but they really haven't heard anything about very substantial about the family history. That might save a lot.
Okay, but I want to ask you, because there are 3 women on Arizona's death row right now. 2 of them killed kids. One of them sounds a little bit more like Jodi Arias. Wendy Adriano, here she is, I think. She killed her husband after he'd been diagnosed with terminal cancer because she was tired of caring with him, so she poisoned him. Which one is Adriano? Anyway, the point is, she sounds a little bit more like that one. But they all did get death, and so her crime is not so much less heinous than at least one of these women, Adriano, who's on death row now. Jonna?
Yeah, I know. I don't know if the jury in this case might hang on something that I seriously doubt any of those other defendants took the stand for 18 days. Jodi Arias was able to give this jury a whole lot of information. There could be a little piece of sympathy, something mitigating in the 18 days of testimony that one juror will hang on. And if they don't all agree on death, Megyn, she's not getting death.
And they wouldn't be sitting on this jury if they weren't death qualified, saying they're able to do it. Panel, thank you both so much.
Thanks, Megyn.